Welcome to today's episode. Let's be honest for a second. Homeschooling is hard sometimes. There are days where you may seriously think to yourself, maybe I should just put my kids back into school. And if you've ever felt that way, you're not alone. But before you make that decision, there's something important to think about. So let's talk about it in today's episode. Hi again, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Cindy, and I am a licensed teacher, homeschool consultant, and creator of this channel, where I help families create meaningful, child-centered learning experiences using a child-friendly approach. And as always, this channel is for families who want to homeschool or become more involved in their children's education. I'm not here to pressure anyone into homeschooling. I'm just here to be honest and have some conversations about what this journey really looks like and what it's all about and what's going on in the world and what leads us to even consider such a thing. So again, some days are beautiful when we're homeschooling. It's ideal. Your kids are engaged, everyone is learning, you feel confident. But then there's just those days where there's just complete chaos. The kids are fighting, the kids are distracted, someone is crying, someone refuses to write, the toddler makes a mess while you're helping another child. Okay, these are things that happen even at school. Of course, it's going to happen at home. And then suddenly you start thinking, can I really do this? Teachers tell themselves this too. So when you become a mom, I get this feeling like we automatically become teachers. But here's something I always remind myself. So if children are struggling with behavior at home, they are still children at school too. Okay, the same thing that they do at home. Do you really believe that they're gonna we're gonna stop doing that at school with a stranger called a teacher? So those same emotions, distractions, and behaviors exist at school as well. The difference is that you, the parent, the mom or dad, you're just not there to see it. And this is something many parents, for some reason, disconnect, don't realize it. And I'm here to tell you, like I'm guilty of it. When I would send my child to school, I kind of felt like a little bit of relief. I was like, I guess I can get some work done, and my child is at school, and they're going to take good care of her. They know what they're doing. They're trained professionals, and she's going to get the education she needs, and I can just do my work for money. Of course, it's work for money, and we don't work for free. And we got to remember, schools spend a lot of time managing behavior, just like you probably are at home with your children. And this is where I kind of got this idea over the years. I was like, and don't get me wrong, children should get along with their peers, the children that are within their same age group, and get socialized and all of these things. But when they've got siblings, and then I see sibling rivalries and sibling fightings and this and that and the other, I began to think to myself, I was, because I've got more kids, I thought to myself, and I was like, my kids should probably learn to get along with each other, because they are going to be in well, at least I want them to. I want them to know each other. As they get older, I want them to have parties together and celebrate things that they've accomplished together. I want them to go to each other's graduation, each other's weddings, and each other's baby showers, et cetera, et cetera. A family. So, we want to cherish traditions, and so all of that starts at home. And so when we talk about managing at school, they're managing behaviors like transitions, bathroom breaks, redirections, classroom management, waiting in line, handling distributions, when they got to pass out the papers. So a lot of portion of the school day is not exactly academic. It's more instructed on behavior and how things should flow in general. So when you start feeling like I can't do this anymore, these kids are crazy, they're jumping on the couches and they're in my face. I mean, these are things that we need to be teaching our children at home already, whether they go to school or not, that, you don't get into people's faces. You keep your hands to yourselves. And, there's just routine, like when we eat dinner at the table. That's a perfect example and a perfect opportunity to handle transitions and breaks and distribution. Okay, so a large portion of school day is not directly academic. It's also these transitions and procedures. So at home, academics can often be completed much faster because there are fewer students, there are fewer interruptions, and instruction is more individualized. That doesn't mean that homeschool is easier. It's just different. Okay, it's the same deal at school and at home. The children will need one-on-one. So again, this is where it gets kind of tricky. Is now if you're homeschooling multiple children of different ages, that adds another layer, because one child may need phonics, math help, and writing support, while another child is, doing other things like nonsense things like climbing on the couches, asking for snacks, or refusing to participate altogether. And maybe they even need help with their potty, your potty training. They're not even at writing level. They're at potty. They're still potty and diapers. And honestly, you have to get into a rhythm. And just like at school, children are, even though they're at the same grade level, that doesn't mean that they're academically at the same stage. So even teachers at school, they have to adjust, and they have to do this thing called differentiate. Okay, so you're going to have to do the same thing at home. So one thing that helps is creating activity boxes. Teachers do this at school. You can do it at home. There are simple bins or containers with your child's name on them that they can quickly pull out and work on independently while you teach another child. So let's say your toddler doesn't know how to read, but they can certainly see their picture. So you put pictures on these boxes, and they know that, oh, that's me. This is your box. You can do this right now. So you can put in these boxes like coloring activities, puzzles, matching games, Play-Doh, magnetic letters, Lego challengers, tracing cheats, sensory activities. I mean, the sky is the limit. You can put whatever it is you want that your child can do on their own, and they're going to be happy doing on their own. And the amazing thing about this is that they don't have, it's not a screen. Okay, they're learning, they're touching, they're feeling, they're sensing, they're smelling, all these things. This gives your distracted child something purposeful to do while you focus on another learner. And then sometimes you reverse it. your older child works independently while you help the younger one, and vice versa. Homeschooling often becomes a rhythm more than a perfect schedule. And I think this is the same at school, because do you really think that teacher can handle 24 individualized students with individual learnings, with individual issues, behavioral issues? Not all of them are the same, and they're not all created equally, and they don't all come from the same background and school. Home, the home environment. Okay. There are challenges. I mean, there's children who have abusive parents, or parents that are alcoholics. I mean, all kinds of situations. So teachers have to help these students. I also want to discuss a recent article involving North Carolina lawmakers and education scholarship funding. The conversation around education funding, school choice, and scholarships continues to grow nationwide. And regardless of where people stand politically, these discussions matter because they impact families, educational access, and the choices parents have for their children. One thing I always encourage parents to do is stay informed. So because education policies directly affect families, okay? So check out this article so that you can stay informed. Okay, now it's time for our public school of the week. This week's shout out goes to Tomahawk Elementary School in Overland Park, Kansas. I want to recognize the teachers, the staff, and the school community for the work that they do, and the work that the families do there. There's so many great teachers there, especially long ago. She might not be there anymore, Miss Shahan. She was amazing. And I want to recognize the teachers, the staff, because they're all amazing and they really do great job. There's so many hardworking educators out there, and I believe it's important to acknowledge schools creating positive learning environments for children. So thank you to everyone at Tomahawk Elementary for the work that you do. Now, before we continue, I want to thank you for supporting this channel. If this content has been helpful to you, you can support the channel with $1 donation to help keep these conversations and resources available to families. I also offer one-on-one lessons, small group classes, parent consultations, homeschool guidance and support. And again, all of this is done virtually, and if you live in my area, then it could be done in person. If you need help getting started or staying consistent, you can do this by clicking the likes and the subscribe button, and you can turn on that notifications button. So let's wrap it up. Here are my final thoughts. Homeschooling is not about perfection. It's about consistency. It's about connecting and creating an environment where your child can grow, or your children can grow. Some days will feel hard. There's no doubt about that. But hard does not always mean wrong. Okay? They do say something along the lines of it's about working out. If you don't feel the burn, then you're not working out. You got to feel that burn, and that kind of happens when you're homeschooling and you're raising your children. I mean, this is just raising your children in general. You're going to feel the burn, and that burn is actually you doing the right thing. Okay, so some days will feel hard, but hard does not always mean wrong. And sometimes it simply means you're building something meaningful, just like you're working out those muscles. You're working out your family. Anyway, if you're homeschooling multiple age children, just hang in there and comment below and share one thing that helps your routine. Again, thank you for being here, and I'll see you in the next episode.